Alrighty, guys. So we have got an interview today with Aiden. This guy is a stud. He's part of the REMC Launch Program. We're gonna be basically going through the whole process of how he's hitting 20K months. He's right now in his 20s, so young dude, and he's killing it. So Aiden, let's start off with you introducing yourself, man. Tell me about yourself. What got you into this whole real estate marketing space? And yeah, just let's take it all the way back. Let's start there.
Yeah, definitely. I was always interested in real estate. Didn't really know where to go because I think like the main direction, right, if you don't have capital and money is to get your license or something of that nature, like join a team as an admin or something, you know what I mean? So I kind of wanted to do something that was kind of unconventional and very scalable. I've always been a business owner, like from when I was 15, I was always a hustler. I was always doing little like garage sales, selling door to door and stuff. When I was like 16, 17, I started like a lawn care company, landscape company. I did that for 4 years and then I sold it. And then I realized I kind of wanted something more scalable, especially online, because you could do a lot more online. Like I think I heard someone say like 1 year of business online is like 10 years of business in like a standard industry. So there's a lot more scalability just with code, and you can leverage yourself with content. Like I'm a big reader of Naval, and like Naval said, there's 4 ways to leverage yourself, right? Like code, content, capital, and collaboration or people. So I think you can just leverage a lot more of that online. And the RMC model appealed to me because, again, I wanted to know the how of like the actual mechanism of how I could help people in the real estate space. Right now, it's realtors and brokerages. And they definitely delivered on giving me the mechanism. And then I just had to put in the work and kind of put some of my own touches as well, but they gave me like the foundation, which was key.
Love it. Yeah, that's a big point too. Like, you came in with business experience already, and I mean, most businesses are more the same. Like they have a marketing department, sales department. Did you see a big difference though? Like, or were you able to take some of the stuff from previous businesses and apply it right away?
Yeah, like you said, for sure, Prab. Like every business can business skills can translate to different businesses, even if it's in like different industries, just based off like managing people. I think that's pretty universal, right? I did that in my last company, especially how to market, right? At the end of the day, it's all kind of based on psychology, understanding consumer behavior and how people think and act and stuff. So I understood that pretty well. Of course, like I said, the mechanism is different, right? Like real estate marketing is different than landscape marketing or any other type of like sales, right? So you kind of learn the niche, which is why again you guys were good because you guys had that industry experience and you guys were able to coach and mentor me through it, which is key. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's how you take action on the information. It's not how you actually learn it. Like you have to do it. And that's the biggest thing that I think the business world will teach you rather than like conventional education is you actually have to do rather than like watch or read. Like I'm a big reader still, but I definitely think you have to do more than you read now. So
Exactly. It comes to the application, right? I think you implemented a lot. You were always in coaching calls, and like implementation is key. But even as well, like I think you have a background in engineering, correct? So like,
yeah, yeah, I did software engineering. So I learned how to code and kind of think like in system processes there and all that stuff. And it was good for problem solving, which I think is key in business as well.
exactly. And I think right now as well, like one of the good things is like so like most like I think that I wouldn't even say REMCs. It might be initially an agency, but over time it transitions into more of a consultancy. That's of course by choice, but having a software background and a lot of stuff is built on Go High level. It helps a ton, and you can do so many different things. So yeah, like so you know let's just talk about right now. So what was your biggest month so far? And like when did you start again? Like, I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, so I was in the space kind of learning and networking with realtors for like the last year, but again, I didn't really have the mechanism. I wanted to kind of get that industry experience, but I realized that if I wanted to like cut the learning curve, I need a mentor or someone who's actually done it and could teach me, basically accelerate that learning curve, right? So you guys had that, and then I started with you guys around in April, and then I took action basically in May and went full throttle in May, and now we're in September, so it's going well. Yeah.
Of it. And I think your biggest month was, I think it's 20K, or what was the biggest month
My,
for?
my biggest month so far has been 30K. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well, And then right now you're hovering about like 20K a month and
Yeah,
scaling
like I like to under promise over deliver. So like in the 20s range. Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And so right now, like what's your main source of client acquisition? Like what's working for you to get clients? 'Cause of course, people are always like wondering, like, how the heck do I get clients, right? So what's
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Good question. Yeah, no, so my main mechanism to do that is just been like the cold outbound process. I've been very, very good at understanding, I guess, how to systematize some things as well as just from my background, as well as hire the right people to help me like actually do it at scale. Like I've hired multiple people on an outbound team, right? And outbound, like you say, Prab is a profit center, but it's also takes longer to grow, right? Like anyone who I've kind of read about, like Hermosi, for example, I was reading his book and he's saying like outbound takes time to build, but once you build it, it kind of starts going. And I've been able to scale an outbound team pretty well as my only like acquisition channel. I haven't even ran ads or implemented an affiliate or referral base yet. I'm starting to do that, but it's just been outbound and it's gone well. So
That's really good. I mean, outbound, like for us, that was a big profit center for sure. Like that was one of the only reasons we are actually able to make profit. We had a really big outbound team, but of course, it took a couple months to solve it, but
yeah,
it started working. Now I think like even with AI, outbound got a little bit easier, like because so many things you can do. Like I'm looking at something with Ulink. It's like a tool for LinkedIn prospecting, and you can use like AI to start conversations, and like there's so many things. I was talking
yeah,
about mastermind call. So yeah, like I mean, client acquisition outbound. I think first and foremost, you started off outbound just because A, it's one, it is cheaper than paid ads, but B, it's also builds like good end-to-end sales process skills. So right now, I'm sure you translated those skills into paid ads. Is that yeah? And I think I've seen your paid ads before too.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so right now I'm running like organic content pretty good and then doing some boosted posts to get like more followers. But I have a whole paid ads acquisition strategy in place. I just got to press the go button. I just want to make sure I don't overwhelm the business pipeline right now. I have to hire another rep probably for when I want to do that because we're already getting a lot of calls in. So I want to make sure I have enough people to handle the volume, which is key, right?
yeah,
And
that's
build that
always,
sales team. Yeah.
it's always a juggling act. Like what happened to us, like so when we were building our sales team, like we had the same thing. We turned on ads, and then Jazz's calendar gets full, then my calendar gets full. And like, okay, crap. Like now we're at the office all day, and then like for 12 hours a day, like what are we gonna do now? And then we're gonna sleep and come back the next day for calendar. So then we're like, oh, you know what? We'll take sales calls on the weekend. And then, that wasn't the best because people show up rates were a little bit lower, all that kind of stuff. So like, you know what? We got to build a sales team. And then sales team was another problem because we were like, oh, should we bring in the sales reps in person? Oh, now they're on employee agreements, not contractor agreements. There's a lot of headache there. And
Yeah.
then for someone's on base salary, there's always like you the incentives aren't in place really to get the most out of them, especially
Mhm.
the sales seat. So
Yeah.
then we looked around, and we found actually a mentor as well who helped us. And helped us build like our first sales team with commission only. And then, we iterate on the process. Right now we've got a commission only sales team. So I'm assuming like, for you, that's gonna be the next step.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the next step, 100%. That's what I'm doing now. So working on building that out in the next month and a half, get that going, and then I can really up the volume and not break things in the business. So
Yeah, I mean that's the fastest way to get 100K a month or more. Just setting appointments, closing appointments. But yeah, I think the biggest mistake that me and Jazz made was like we scaled really fast initially because of course like we were young and exciting with 100K a month. But what you really want to focus on is like trying to remain as profitable as you can and like making sure every ounce like scale slow, but like instead of asking how fast can I scale my ad spend, ask how much more can I get out of this ad spend.
Mhm.
Like, that's what we were literally doing right now. Like when we spend money on ads, like instead of scaling ad spend, we're like, okay, you know what? Can we have a better content strategy in place? Can we have better follow-up? So we built an AI booking bot on Instagram. We have AI booking text messages. That's added in already over 70K a month in MRR, or not MRR, but like this in monthly sales. Uh,
Yeah.
and like we're like, well, like instead of scaling ad spend to increase 70K, which is way more expensive, we did this. So you're gonna think like that because that's what's gonna really, in the end of the day, you're doing this to raise your bank account. And I know a lot of people in this space. I'm not sure if you've talked to other people, but like there's a lot of people that like run marketing related businesses or service businesses in the marketing space, whether it's agency, consultancy, and people's margins are just crap, like 10%, 15% after chargebacks. It's not fun. So like let's talk about yourself, where do you see yourself in the next sort of like 90 days? Like what do you see yourself in terms of revenue?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So now that I've kind of made an ascension with you guys and learned again how to start building a sales team and delegating even more, I would say, like I said, I have good business experience. So I've already delegated a lot of things. Like I have a good systems integrator with most of like managing like data, Airtable, Zapier, all that shit. I know how to do it myself, but I got him kind of helping me as well. I got VAs to do like text concierge and pipeline management for my agents because I really think the number one thing in the beginning, right, rather than scaling too fast, like you guys said, is to make sure your current clients are very happy, right? Because if they're happy, I mean, they're going to give you more business, and you want to make sure the product's good always, right? So I've delegated most of the fulfillment as well as kind of the back end, and now it's just the sales and kind of the client success that I'm running with another guy as well. And then now I'm looking at, like you said, to build that commission only sales team so I can fully delegate that out and have like key players, people who are even better than me at sales, because I haven't been in sales as long as some people, right? If I hire someone who's been in sales 15 years, they got way more experience than I do, right? So hire them, get them to scale with us. And then, yeah, I think next 90 days, definitely we can hit 100K a month for sure. Yeah.
Definitely. And I actually want to add on to that point, like, you mentioned like hiring someone with already experience in sales. For us, we've actually had much more success taking someone from scratch,
Oh, really? Okay.
ramping them up. And like that's what you'll see when you build a sales team.
Okay.
Like hiring someone, like if they can have sales experience, great. But like what we found is someone that has sales experience coming in, they will have typically an ego and like they don't listen to the way that we sell high ticket online, and it wasn't working. So like some of our top reps right now, they weren't even in sales before. Like our top rep right before this, he was working at an agency before as a customer service, I think.
Mm.
And so he had experience with the industry, but he wasn't a salesperson, which is it's a perfect match. So like we hired off Indeed and stuff, but yeah, I think when you build that sales team, it's gonna really take off. I think that one thing that also happens as a function of scaling fast is like you get so many customers coming in, and you also, in a way, almost like buy case studies, which is literally the name of the game, right? Like you have those 10 or 15 case studies, you're golden. Like you're golden for like the next couple of years. Like I know that because if we turn on our ads again, it brings a couple $1 million a year just from the case studies alone, because that's the name of the game. So I think the first year really is getting those case studies and it just starts taking off, right?
Yeah, yeah. Getting those proof of concept for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So I think one thing I also want to talk about is, so are you licensed at the moment or getting licensed?
No, so I'm getting licensed. I'm just starting the process. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that a lot of people, one of the benefits of real estate industry is like you can use a license as a marketer to gain access to other ways to earn money without really like changing up too much of your business model. So like I think you're gonna get licensed and join sort of like a network marketing style brokerage. There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah, the main thing, and I think you could agree with me, Prab, here is the benefit of getting your license comes in two ways. The first way, people will want to associate with you more as well when they do business with you because you are them, right? Like if you look again, I watch a lot of Hermosi. If you look at Hermosi, he recommends you actually do what you preach before you actually do it, right? So he was a gym owner and then made a gym consultancy or agency or whatever to a huge degree, right? Similar to me, I'd rather have the proof of concept and use this model in my own business with a huge marketing budget because I have enough money to do that and be like, yo, like if you spend like over 3,000 a month on ads and you do all this stuff and you plan it correctly, you can really hit 500,000 GCI in a year. And I'll show you how, right? And I'll show you how to build a team and kind of do it myself and be like, oh, and then I'll use myself as like the main case study because I can relate to my story, right? Which is the biggest thing. And that's kind of why I want to do it, as well as the second thing as well, right? Is you're going to be meeting so many more realtors because you're joining all these like events, brokerage groups, right? So there's like access as well as like proof of concept that I think are the two main things that you want to do.
100% spot on. Like even this, like the ability to run your own ads. Like I did this like for a period of like 6 months. Like I basically built the whole inside sales program for this agent. We got to the point where we're booking 2 or 3 appointments a day, and I was like, okay, you know what? Like this stuff works if the agent actually implements. So
Yeah.
you sort of like, in the end of the day, like what I've seen is like a lot of the money is made in sort of like that coaching consulting space, and you being that coach consultant is gonna be what's gonna be really required to make it to the next level. Because like for us, like, I don't know if you heard of recorded coaching calls on REMC Launch. It was a lot of just like coaching and stuff that really drove the client results and accountability. By you doing that, it's going to help a lot. And also on top of that, like, I think that, like, if you look at like internet businesses and the multiples on them, like, let's say you do want to sell, there's obviously ways to sell it. But like, for example, if you were to, you don't get too much. I mean, in a coaching consulting business built on your brand, probably not that much, maybe 1.2x EBITDA or two. But I mean, with the consultancy model, you can have like, recurring revenue, SaaS revenue from Go High Level, like that stuff helps. But there's another way as well to, like, if you want to have, like, by the time you're 30 or something, for example, like a big cash out, or ability to have a cash out, like EXP is like a publicly traded company. Let's just to give that for example, right? I'm not saying that's the only brokerage. The way people, basically for the audience listening, like the people get paid is like more people in their downline. It's actually compounding. So we talked about Hormozy earlier. Compounding is what you want to pursue in business, right? So for us, I mean, that's why me and Jazz have been focusing a lot on YouTube, particularly Jazz more so not
Same here. I'm not like you guys yet, but I'm on the YouTube game. So
YouTube is compounding.
yeah.
And then, like EXP or like that network marketing is compounding. You can argue that yes, word of mouth stuff is compounding for your business, but it doesn't compound at the rate at that maybe a network marketing style brokerage does, right? Because that's something that, let's say you're 30 and you have like hundreds of agents in your downline or something, you can exit that for like millions of dollars. Or you can take a loan against it and buy more stuff. There's just so many things you can do. In the end of the day, you want to have compounding vehicles work in your favor, and the more you have, the better. And the way I like to look at it is like, okay, can I have more compounding vehicles, but at the same time, keep sanity and have, don't have bandwidth dilution, because you can only really focus on one thing at a time. You can't really do too many things. I've seen too many people that do too many things and they mess it all up. And then at the end of the day, like after 3-4 years, they're like, oh crap, I messed up. So by you staying in the real estate space, you're going to have a lot of other benefits as a marketer. And I think that, like what are your thoughts on like the agent attraction space? Like, I know most people watching right now probably have no idea what we're talking about, but what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think the industry's kind of shaken up, like you said, because ever since like COVID, the cloud-based model has really accelerated in almost every industry, especially real estate. Like you see, like you said, with EXP, they have a new kind of model with this downline stuff, and it's definitely getting a lot of attention. I think the number one thing that I've seen that's going to really take off in the real estate space, though, is the ability to, again, pay less fees, like with a brokerage cloud-based model, right? Still have a very community-centric environment, whether it's through a coaching program, through a downline like EXP, but as well as be able to make like insane offers that you can't make at like normal REMAX, Century 21 brokerages. And I think the brokerages that allow agents to make offers that are kind of like, as Hormozy would say, $100 million offers that grab attention, because that's really the only thing you can change in real estate. You can't change the product. The service is the service, right? It's how you package the service. So I think the brokerages that really tell agents to like have a USP in what they actually talk about, like a unique selling proposition, those are the brokerages that will have the top producing GCI agents, because they allow them to actually have creative control over the offer, where a lot of brokerages don't. And that's what I've just seen kind of. So
100%. I think, like even like about this kind of space too, like if we were to look at, like once you're in the industry, right, you pick up a lot of nuances, and you've been in the industry for a long time. You sure, like you're gonna basically, like, a lot of the biggest shifts in the industry are made for outsiders. So like a marketer considered as an outsider in the real estate industry, coming in, putting in like marketing strategies. Like I think we are talking about this another time. Like if we pull from the affiliate marketing industry, or even like the coaches MLM space, I call it coaches MLM. It's like coaches teaching coaches, teaching coaches, teaching coaches.
yeah.
Taking that as inspiration, applying it to real estate, just starts opening up a whole like plethora of, like, your mind starts thinking. And like for me, every single time I've kind of done these kind of things, and obviously you kind of just blindly implement, you got to think about the consequences. Usually it's been really powerful. Because like when we first started out, like we did lead gen for agents, right? And then I'm like, lead gen done with you for agents as in consultancy. Then we went into like helping real estate agents start up a coaching business / agent attraction. Then came REMC Launch. Like there's a big ROI in the decision. So I think for you as well, staying in the industry, and you already have so much experience, like just from talking to you, you already know a lot more than other people. I think that in the next 5 or 10 years, like there's no reason why like the real estate industry won't reward you at the highest level because
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
like in the right place, right?
For
And you have
sure.
a sense.
For sure. Yeah. There's definitely I have many aspirations in the space. There's lots to do. I just need the next, you gotta solve for the bottleneck, right? The next bottleneck is to get the license because then you can be part of the crowd and join the many. So that's, once I have that, then I can really go. And like
Yeah.
you said, there's much opportunity with partnering with a bunch of agents and growing their downline and taking maybe a cut of a commission off each deal and really maybe having a more of a growth partner model. I've seen that that's been talked about a lot in the kind of our space, growth partner, kind of like equity ownership, profit share type business model. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. Yeah.
And like, I mean, you're an engineer, software engineer, and like, like what you'll realize like is like obviously like I always say like mitigate risk on your end, right? Like it's always like you gotta feed yourself first before like feeding others type of thing. But like you'll reach a certain point, right? What happens in the industry is like you'll reach a certain point where you can afford to have more risks. Like so me and Jazz, like we've thought like, okay, well, we have a couple of hypotheses, like the big ones, and not right now we're implementing, but like maybe starting up. Like once you reach industry insights, you'll see like gaps, and you're saying, you know what, this is a big problem I can solve. Whether I can solve it through software, I can
Yeah.
solve it through a brokerage. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look at it, brokerage is almost software nowadays. Most big
Yeah.
brokers are really tech companies, but
For
let's talk
sure.
about software. Like you can have a solution which you can solve. Like EXP saw that. So like, I mean, as an entrepreneur, you're always looking for these gaps in the market, right? Like for example, like I'll give you a really quick example, and then we'll wrap it up. Like we talk about in the coaching calls of like, how you can have like if we want to do agent attraction, particularly, you want to emulate what the best people are doing. And the best people are using coaching businesses. Now, if we help people, let's say you help people like agents start up a coaching business, and obviously like people, you might get some slander for this, you might get some hate for this. It just the way of thinking in the way I put it. If you help agents start up a coaching business and then they start helping agents start up a coaching business and then they start helping agents, you are gonna literally be the best agent attractor in the freaking nation because you are breeding the next generation of top agent attractors. So if that works, then you can start thinking about, well, if this works so well, why don't I just do it for myself and have all the equity? Right. So like and start my own brokerage. Obviously, that's a whole different thing. You have to raise funding, but that's how you think, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like so yeah, I think if anyone understood what we just said there watching, I think that like it's a huge idea. Obviously, there's a lot of implementation required, and people might not even want to embark on a journey like that. But there's upside of being $1 billion company publicly traded if that works out.
Yeah, and I'll say one thing too. The best thing about the REMC stuff is that you learn the actual infrastructure of how good agents can produce. Because if you don't have leads and you don't have an offer, which you guys teach, right? You build them. We help them build a video sales letter, which is their offer. We help them get leads through marketing and actually have a sales process, right? Which are the two things you actually need as a real estate agent. The service, like I mean, of course, you want to be personable when you meet the lead or the client, right? You want to be personable and you want to be charismatic, and you can learn that through just again talking to people and living life. But you need to have like a system in place. If you don't have a system in place, you're not going to be successful. So that's why I think having, like you said, an outsider's approach and then coming in the industry, like having the infrastructure already there, and then coming in the industry and be like, oh, I already know how to kill it. I know what not to do and what to do because I've seen people who make mistakes as well as I've seen how to really win big, right? That's when you can be like, okay, light bulb, now I know what to do.
100%. Yeah, it's like I think that like I've already seen the coach calls, like I've heard you talk and like you already have a grasp on the stuff. Like I can see you doing really big. I think the key just like staying competitive and wanting to win at every single level is like really the key. Like I had one of my mentors telling me like winners win. And it was like he's like I was complaining on the call like a long time ago. I was like, oh, this is not doing working, blah blah blah. And he just told me winners win. I was like, dude, that's it. And I really thought about it the next day. I was like, okay, you know what? Okay, winners do win. And I figured it out. So I think that like having that winners
For
win
sure.
mentality is gonna serve you. So yeah, man. last couple of questions here. So I think we got out of the way. Like you see yourself, within the sales team, really ramping 100K a month in the next 4 or 5 months, maybe 3 even. So for someone else that's young, like yourself, and it's sort of like looking at that space of making
Yeah,
money
for sure.
online, what's your biggest tip for them?
Sorry, Prav, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
don't. Is it my internet or is it yours? So yeah, you cut out there for a second.
Might be yours, or might be mine.
Okay.
Honest. But so what I'm saying is like, for anyone watching right now, you're young, probably like yourself. They want to make money online. They may be looking at Iman Ghazi videos. They might be looking at my videos or Mozi. What's your biggest tip for them?
Just have the will to act because once you start doing it, it comes easier. But you got to just start.
Love it, love it. And then for anyone that's on the fence for REMT launch, what would you give them? Some words of wisdom.
I'd say like do it if you're prepared to do it, but like you have to again like anything in life, you have to put in the work. Nothing is easy. So if you do it well, you're gonna make it big. But if you don't have the time or the tenacity to do it, then don't do it. So yeah.
100%. Yeah, we always say like if you're in this program, like this should be the pretty much one of the biggest, or if not the biggest priority in your life if you want to make.
Yeah. For at least 6 months, I'd say, because after 6 months, you can start to delegate more and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not bootstrapping, you are bootstrapping a business, right? So like, you have to do everything yourself from scratch.
Yeah.
But Aiden, my man, this was awesome. I think we talked about a lot of stuff in 30 minutes. It's almost too much for anyone to handle. But if anyone's watching, just rewind and everything. But I really appreciate you taking time in our day. I know you're busy. You got a whole day of sales calls. To share those wins, man. I can see a couple of deals closing today. But apart from that, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for your time, brother, and we'll connect soon.
Yeah,
See
for
you.
sure. It's a problem.